Okay, so this video is going to be on compound interest. And again, the meaning of compound interest is when you earn each year, your interest is added back to your principal. So it doesn't mean that the balance just grows, but also you are growing interest up on top of interest, which is what makes it an exponential growth. Again, a lot of personal savings plans, or the stock market, any of that kind of stuff is usually on a compounded interest formula. So let's talk about what the symbols and letters mean in the formula. So A is going to be the amount you're going to have in your account after T years. P is the principal amount, or how much you're going to invest. R is your annual interest rate. And again, when you put that into your formula, be sure you put it in as a decimal value. N is the number of times that you're going to compound per year. So let's just talk about what those numbers mean. So annually would mean you're only compounding one time. Semi-annually would be every 6 months or twice a year. Monthly, of course, would be 12. Weekly is 52. And daily is 365. Now, I forgot to put on here quarterly, which means 4. There's also, sometimes you might see a bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, that kind of stuff, but these are typically the ones that we're going to see, okay? And so we're going to fill in this chart as our first set of problems. And so, again, we're going to just use that formula. I'll write it again here so you can see it. Okay? And so in this case, our 50,000 is our P, our 6% is our R, and this says annually, which means, again, N is going to equal 1. Now, for the sake of these problems, we're just going to do 1 year each time. Okay? So A equals P. 1 plus your rate, again, is a decimal, over N, in this case is just 1, N times T, and again, I told you we were going to just do 1 year. Now, granted, this one is just to the first power, so you really don't need that. You also don't need the 1 here. Now, this one in the formula is actually your 50,000. This part over here is the interest part of it. Okay? So we're just going to run those numbers in our calculator and get us an answer. So when you put that in, be sure you are careful. This one not as much as some of the others, but so we're just going to take 50,000 in this case times 1.06. Okay, so I now have in my account $53,000. Okay, that means that the interest that I earned, because I started with 50, I now have 53, I earned $3,000 in interest. Okay, and we're going to run through the next one the same way. So the difference here, this again is my P, my R, and again semi-annually means 2. So my formula would be 50,000 1 plus 0.06 over 2, and then 1 times 2, again, because I'm just doing 1 year. Okay. So now when you go to put this in your calculator, one of the things that you might want to do is put in the parentheses piece in your calculator and get what that is. Now that one we can do in our head. 0.06 divided by 2 is 0.03 plus 1. And then also, sometimes it's easier to go ahead and multiply that in your head. And then you can run that right like that in your calculator, 1.03 squared. Okay, and so this one is 53,045. So now I've earned this time $3,045. So just by compounding it one more time, so in other words, every 6 months putting a compound and earning interest on that interest. So basically you earned $45 of interest on the $3,000 roughly is a way to look at it. Okay, and we're going to keep doing that. And what I want you to see is basically the more that you are compounding, the more money you're going to make. So now it's still the 0.06. This time it's divided by 12, and again 12 times the 1. Okay, and again I'm going to put that in my calculator. So this is 1.005, and it's to the 12th power. Okay, so now I have 53,083.89, and we do want to go to dollars and cents, so both of these up here were just zero on there. And then again, when I subtract 50 from it, I have now, in this case, would have earned $3,083.89. So again, now by compounding it monthly, I've earned even more money. So again, the more times that you can compound it, the better you're going to be. Again, here weekly, we were now at 52. And again, one thing that you guys need to practice is just being able to put everything into your calculator and knowing where all the numbers goes. Okay? So again, I'm going to run that in my calculator. So this time, this is 1.001153, so forth. So be careful about rounding that too much because you don't want to, so you might try to leave that number in your calculator. I can leave mine in my calculator and then go ahead and take that long decimal number to the 53rd power. And then, oops, I hit the wrong button. And then multiply it by 50,000. So now I have in this one $53,151.25. And again, I left that actual value, all the whole decimal value, in my calculator. So this time I've earned $3,151.25 in interest. Okay, and then the final one would be daily 365. Okay, and we'll just run that and see if we get the same. So I do 0.06 divided by 365, okay, and then I add 1 to it. So in this case, make sure you're kind of getting the same number that I am. And again, I am leaving this value in my calculator and then just taking it to the 365 and multiplying it by the 50,000. It's my method. So 53,000. Oh, I hit something wrong, because that is not going to be a right answer. Yes, it was less. So let me go back here. Oh, I forgot to. I don't. Shoot. One. Sorry about that. 365 plus 1. Okay, caret 365. Well, I am putting something in wrong because that's coming out to be less than what I should, so I don't know what I'm doing. Run it and see what you get. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video and then figure it out. But you get the gist of what we're doing here. I don't want to take up too much time. So run that number, see what you get. I think I put an extra 0 in there maybe. Okay, anyway, figure it out, see what you get. It should be more than the 53,151 because, again, the more I'm computing it, the better it should be. So you figure out what I did wrong. I put something in my calculator wrong.